Hi guys.
Hi
Good
Nidhi.
evening, Nalin.
Good evening. How are you, Nidhi?
Welcome to the discussion today, Nalin. I was looking forward to this. But before I start, I just wanted to talk to our viewers a little bit about the TLR now. So
Sure.
TLR stands for Team Leap Roar Now. And we believe that it is time to upgrade in life, especially in these times. TLR now is a one-stop, solution to all coaching, trainings, and mentoring services that anybody might have. And we are a panel of 80 experts under one roof, and we bring to table all our expertise, our knowledge, our understanding in various fields, and we engage with schools, colleges, universities, business houses through coaching, training, and mentoring activities. So that's what we do. Welcome to the platform, and it's really great to have you. But before I start, I just want to do a quick introduction of Nalin Chandna. He is the group CEO of National Gas Company of Oman, but more importantly, he is a chartered accountant by profession. He is a TEDx speaker as well as a leadership coach. Am I right? Have I left out anything?
Thank you. No.
Long
Thank you,
list
Nidhi.
of
Thank you for the kind words.
Great. Nalin, just to get straight away into the topic, there has been a lot of talk, and I've been seeing a lot of updates and videos, etc., on various social media platforms that people are talking about a lot about training, upscaling themselves, and this is the time to learn new things. So, considering that, the question that I have is that right now, since that we are under a lockdown and life is almost on a standstill, so to speak, and people are working from home, why do you think this is a good opportunity for people to upscale themselves?
Yeah. Nidhi, the biggest excuse that people always have in not developing themselves or not doing things that they always wanted to do is paucity of time. People always say that I don't have time, right?
Someday.
So, in the lockdown period where people are working from home, at least they are saving the commute time. And many companies are actually working reduced working hours. So
Correct.
everybody has got extra time on hand to do the things that they've always wanted to do. So
Mhm.
whatever negative is happening, and we are very sorry to note that so many people have died world over due to
Right.
this pandemic. But I think some things are beyond our control. What is in our control is at least our development, our growth.
Absolutely.
So at least we could devote that time to our development.
Right, right. I absolutely agree with you. It's a great time to actually be doing some learning for ourselves. Um, do you really think, considering that you have such a vast experience working with, as a CEO, plus working with various, people as a leadership coach, do you think personal development and personal growth plays a very important role in succeeding what we want to do in life, achieve what we want to do?
Absolutely. See, as human beings, we all naturally want to succeed. We all naturally want to be happy.
Right.
And if I talk about success, what is success? Success is not a milestone that I achieve and then I'm done. It's not that I've got a position and that I've succeeded. Success is a journey and not a destination. So we keep on carrying on. We've been blessed with tremendous potential. All of us have been blessed with tremendous potential.
Right.
So we just keep moving forward to achieve that potential in our lives. That's
Right.
what personal growth is all about. Developing yourself each day, getting better tomorrow than what you are today. So I think personal growth is absolutely, absolutely important to succeed in life, to be happy in life, and one day to leave a legacy that people remember you.
Right. And on that note, was coming to my mind is that considering that the times is so volatile right now and dynamic, that there is a sense of we're getting overwhelmed with the environment around us. So people are really struggling. I mean, working from home is a new environment. Outside is a new environment. The way the economy is, we don't know what's going to happen. Any advice for people in those times?
Absolutely. See, we talk so much about mindfulness these days. People
Right.
are so busy. People are busy being busy. And as they say that even the ants are busy, but it should be important that what you're busy with. So we are
Right.
talking about mindfulness. I think this is a very good opportunity to take a pause, reflect on how life has been going. If you
Right.
don't have a life plan already, take this as an opportunity to make a life plan. Look at your
Okay.
short term goals, your midterm goals, your long term goals. And I think this is something which people should really take it as an opportunity to develop their life plan. I am strongly in favor of a documented personal growth plan.
Right. A documented personal growth plan, is it?
Yeah, yeah. When you put things on paper, then
Correct.
they're always in front of you. Otherwise, some things we have so many things on our phones. We've got so much of material on our phones,
Right.
but if it is not in front of us, out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. Absolutely. And I'll come back to that one because I also think it's very important to actually write down and give the mind that focus. But before we do that, uh, why is it why is there so much importance which is given to continuous learning, continuous development, and especially when people are doing well for themselves. I mean, for a minute, let's not look at the times right now, but there are people who are doing pretty well for themselves and growing well, and they're very satisfied with what's happening, and still it's suggested to them continuously that they should be upscaling themselves and growing themselves. Any insights into that?
Yeah, so I think if I talk about our parents' generation or the earlier generation, people used to join one company and used to
Right.
retire from that company 30, 40 years later.
Correct.
Our times were slightly different, but if I look at the younger generation, the switch is even much more faster.
Right.
And in the dynamic times as today, job security is no longer a given. Employability is what is important, right?
Right.
So if I look at job security, I don't know. I've been doing pretty well, and my work has been like up to the mark. But if the organization is not doing well, and I'm one fine day I'm just asked to leave. So what is important in our life is employability today, and
Right.
employability comes when you are always on your toes to develop yourself. If you're not upskilling yourself, if you're not developing yourself, then it's very difficult to even switch jobs today. So
Right.
I think that's the kind of importance of continuous learning and development, because it is not only good for your career development, it is also good for your personal and professional development to help you get a new job. Maybe you want to start your own business and you're not
Correct.
ready today, but if you upskill yourself, maybe this job that you don't like that much, one day comes when you leave the job and you start your own business, you do your
Absolutely.
own
Yes.
consulting. Yeah? So
Yes. Yes. Entrepreneurship is, of course, the
absolutely.
new
So
buzzword.
that's why I think continuous learning and development is absolutely important.
Right. So, what I hear you say, Nalin, is basically that continuous learning is very important, not only to achieve what we want to achieve, but also to remain relevant and employable. Am I right in my understanding?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Uh, so on that note, and what you had talked about writing a personal growth plan, most of us have never really thought about a, personal growth plan in our life. We have a 5, 10, 20 years of career behind us, and most of us have done well. I have two questions here. One is, how relevant a written down, chalked out personal growth plan is, and how do we go about that?
Right. So I think in terms of relevance, it is very, very relevant, because if you have something documented, then whenever you sit down every week or every night, you at least go through your goals. It keeps on constantly ingraining in your mind that this is my target to reach in 2 years' time, in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time. And that's how, once you put it into a long-term goal, then you break it down into tasks and activities. So I think documenting that plan is very important, and that plan should be a holistic plan. I'm not only talking about your career, that okay, in my job I have to do a quarterly review, I have to do the audit done, or the operations plan review. It has to be, your office should be there, your social life should be there, your family life should be there, your spiritual life should be there, your own enrichment has to be there. So I think it has to be a holistic plan covering all 5 7 parameters or dimensions of your life that should be
The
addressed
entire
in that
wheel of
plan.
life should be covered as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because if you ignore one thing, then all the other sectors are going to suffer.
Right, right, right. No, I hear what you say. So basically, what you're saying is that we need to have a goal.
Correct,
To start our personal growth journey, well, we have to know where we are going, right?
correct,
And
correct.
when you were saying that, I remember there is a study that was done in Harvard, which for the management graduates, and they did how many people actually had a written down plan, and one would assume that such elite, students would have a
Yeah,
focus,
yeah,
and very
yeah.
interestingly, not even 8 to 9% had that.
Correct.
And when they translated it into the earnings year after on that research, they found that only people who actually had a written plan were earning 10 times more than everybody else. So,
Yeah,
yes,
I don't know about that, whether they earn 10 times or not. But I think we work in organizations, and in organizations every year we've got, like, the budgets are prepared, the forecasts are made, we have a vision for the company, we've got the mission for the company. I mean, take yourself as an organization. You are the CEO of your own organization. So how
absolutely.
do you steer yourself? So you should have a vision for yourself. You should have a mission for yourself. If you don't have a plan, somebody else will have it for you, and trust me, they'll have nothing. They'll only fit in their plan into you. Yeah. So
Right,
if you've got your calendar available for others, it'll easily be blocked by others. So you have to be conscious of what you are doing.
right. And I love what you said, that you are the CEO of your own life. Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Brilliantly put.
absolutely,
And I agree. If an organization has a goal and an objective, that we work for, and we are working for it on a daily basis, then it just makes
absolutely.
so much natural sense to work for yourself also. And
It
um,
has.
you know, bringing you to the now the more specific. How do we actually work a personal growth plan? What do we really do? What do you
So
suggest?
I
Are there
think,
1 2 steps or something?
yeah. So I think first of all, you have to be intentional about it. You should have the right intention. So that is important, that you need to have the intention of doing it. I mean, if
Okay.
we may talk, most of us know what is good for us, but we really don't know. We really don't do anything. Right? We all know that going to the gym and working out for an hour every morning is good for us, but
Yes.
many of us, including me, we don't do it. So I think there are a lot of things which we know but we don't do it. So intentions have
Knowing
to
and
be right.
intentions are different.
Absolutely, the intention has to be right. And intention, I'm not talking about wishful thinking only. You have to take concrete steps. So you need to
Realistic.
analyze, your what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what your
Okay.
interests are, what your opportunities are, what could be a career and what could just be a hobby. I love singing, but I've got a horrible voice, so I won't make a career out of it.
Yeah.
So it's just good for that. I play golf sometimes, but again, I'm too bad at it, so I cannot make a career out of it. So you have to analyze. You have to. When I talked about reflection, this is what reflection is all about: pausing and taking stock of the situation. So go through your strengths, go through your passions, through your purpose, what your purpose is. A lot of people ask me what is passion, because it's very easy to say passion, but
Yeah, yeah,
people
yeah.
say, yeah, people say I've not found my passion.
Right.
So passion, I would simply say that passion is something which you want to do it so badly that you'll do it for free, and then you'll do it so nicely that people will pay you for it.
Oh, beautifully said. Beautifully
So,
said.
so that is what is passion. So you find out what your passion is, find out where, what kicks you. So I think that is important, and then put the long term goals, then break them down into medium term, short term goals. Each goal has to be brought down into activities. People
Right.
say that I take resolutions every January 1, but I'm not able to fulfill. Because what we do is we say that I'll lose 20 kg in a month or 2 months. We
Right.
don't say that on January 1 I'll not have dessert.
Yeah.
We don't say that January 2, I'll not have anything fried. So look at micro resolutions rather than taking big
Big
resolutions,
ones.
which
Which
are
overwhelm
almost
us.
always bound to fail.
Right, right. They
So I think
overwhelm.
there's small, they overwhelm you.
Yeah.
So you have to be just go slow and steady. We were children and we used to hear that saying, "Slow and steady wins the race." That's
Right, right.
still applicable.
And even in life, I mean, even at workplace, you may be having a year long targets or objectives or whatever. Then it's finally broken down to the numbers on a daily basis. So
Absolutely,
you're absolutely
absolutely.
right. That's how we need to take it. I just wanted to draw a little attention to what you just said earlier when you're talking of the personal growth. You said we must
Yes,
evaluate
yeah.
our strengths and interests. So are you talking about some kind of a self SWOT kind of a thing?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I really don't call it as a threat. Those strengths, weakness, opportunities, definitely. So what I say is
Strengths,
strengths, weakness,
weaknesses,
opportunities, and interests. Yeah, the
oh,
threat could be
opportunity
applicable
and
as well.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because when I talk about career versus hobby, so opportunities versus interests.
Of
So
course.
yeah, but threats, I'm generally not. I don't talk about threats per se because each individual is unique.
Right.
So I wouldn't say that it's a threat, but yeah, it's kind of a SWOT analysis. You're right.
Okay. So, just to kind of, for people who might be listening and may have missed, is that what you're saying is that we should start by being intentional. We should do self analysis for ourselves to know what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, what are
Correct.
our opportunities and interests. And from there, understand what are our passions and interests, and hence invest in that.
That's
Maybe
right.
a long term goal and break them down into small, medium, and then maybe a daily kind of a goal, right?
And I think you should have a timeline as well, because
Timeline.
people say that someday I'll do it. So I
Oh, yeah,
search so
something gonna
much.
come.
I search so much for someday on my calendar, but I couldn't find it.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, so you have to have a timeline attached. This is the target date, and then you work backwards and kind of break down that activity into smaller steps and smaller resolutions.
Yes, I think timelines are very, very important. Without telling yourself, I will do it by so and so date and time.
Yeah.
And even they
It will
say
never
that,
happen.
something is on your list for more than 60 days or something, it's not going to really
It's not
happen.
going to happen. Yeah.
Great, Nalin. So going forward, tell me what stops people from actually doing something so simple. I mean, they do it on a daily basis, professionals especially. I mean, not just professionals, even homemakers, they have an agenda for a day, for the week, for the month, they plan themselves, right? And
Mm-hmm.
yet, when it comes to ourselves,
Correct.
where does that wisdom, where all that focus, it just melts away, So, what
I think
happens?
we just get too comfortable being average because being average is so easy. Yeah, because I mean that chalta hai kind of an attitude that everything will be all right. What's
Being
the
average.
harm?
Yeah.
Being average. So being average is so easy, and that's why people take the easy route. We're all human beings. We all want to take the easy route,
Yeah,
but we
mine
all
also
know,
is crazy good. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But being average doesn't give you promotions, doesn't give you raises, doesn't give you satisfaction. Still, we
Doesn't
carry
make
on like
you
that. So it's just, I think you have to be more. Again, it boils down to intentionality. You have to be intentional that I have to be better than what I am. Unless you want to do that, you've got a big TV in your house and you can spend hours and hours watching Netflix and Prime Video. So that will not take you anywhere. I'm not saying that it's entertainment is not important, but sometimes we just do too much of it and forget the bigger things.
So yeah, so you're saying that entertainment is not important. So everything
No,
is important.
it is, but yeah, everything should be balanced.
Absolutely. So that brings me to a thought that we all know where our priorities are. Actually, deep down, we all know, and yet, uh, it just derails us. Why do we get off track? I mean, even though I know, I shouldn't be binge watching on Netflix,
Yeah,
and rather
yeah,
I should be doing one, report that is supposed to be submitted or work on a
yeah,
presentation or, any of that, and still we derail ourselves.
Yeah. So I think the important thing is that we need to understand a very simple line. We have to give up to go up. You have to give up to go up. Yeah, we have to
Give
make
up
some
to go up.
sacrifice.
Ah,
You have to
okay.
give up to go up. Yeah, so you
Give
have to
up.
make sacrifice.
Right.
And sacrifice, sometimes people ask me, sacrifice is such a negative word. Sacrifice is you're giving away something, you're letting
Right.
go of something. Yeah? But I think sacrifice is actually a very positive word because you're giving off something of a lesser value in
Hmm.
return for something of a greater value. Giving
Absolutely.
off the good to get the great is is a is a valuable sacrifice, right?
Absolutely. I believe
Yeah,
in good to great. Good is the
yeah,
enemy
that's
of.
right. That's right. That's why I said that. Yeah.
I just
And
have a yeah.
that the higher you have to go, the tougher the trade-off.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
if you've
I
got bigger aspirations, then you have
absolutely.
to have bigger trade-offs. So
Yes.
that's directly proportional.
Yes. Yes. Nalin, we have a viewer who's just left a comment, Ankur
Sure.
Bermani. He says, a
Yeah.
question for Nalin: how to
Yeah.
pursue passion? We are so engrossed in day-to-day life, don't get time even for family. Passion will always be at the back seat. You have addressed it, but if since he's left the question, I thought I'll just read it
Correct.
out.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think what I would say is that your past doesn't necessarily determine that what your future is going to be like. Whatever
Brilliant. Yes.
has happened, right?
Happened.
Your past
Yeah.
is not a real determination. So I
Right.
mean, what you do today definitely determines your tomorrow. But if you're not happy with what has happened or is happening, there is always a
You
time to
can change.
rectify things.
Yeah, you can change.
Yesterday ended last night. Yeah?
Yes.
Yesterday ended last night, and that's it. So you forget that. And again, I completely agree with this gentleman that it's so overwhelming. There's so many office priorities.
Yeah.
But I think again, it boils down to the Pareto principle as well. So 80% of the things are giving you 20% of the value. So
Oh
you
yeah.
really need to analyze. Yeah. So Pareto principle is one big thing which in today's time.
Yeah.
See, I always say, I mean, Donald Trump has 24 hours, Narendra Modi has 24 hours, I have 24 hours, you have got 24 hours. So what we do in these 24 hours is important.
Is going
If
to determine how great we can be.
correct. So how again the process of reflection is so good that it will give you so many insights on your life. When you sit down to reflect, you'll see that there are certain activities which you shouldn't be doing, which you
Yeah.
could delegate, or which are
Yeah.
not adding value. So let's rather than having a to-do list, let's also have a not to-do list.
Yeah.
So you can list down items that these are things I'm not going to do from today because it's not bringing
Well,
any value to me.
I love that. Let's have not to do list. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think there is always an opportunity. We should keep a log for a week, see where our time is really going. And we'll find there are spaces which we could utilize. There are spaces which we could completely eliminate from our lives.
Um, in fact, from the reflection point that you brought up, in fact, I have been reflecting since now you have so much time to reflect, right? And I really wonder that, despite that, we all know that we want to. You ask this question of anyone. In fact, a young, my nephew just yesterday said, I said, what do you really want in life? And he said, I want to be successful.
Correct.
You ask a 10-year, 11-year-old, and I'm sure they will give a similar kind of reply. And yet, most of them don't know what being successful really is. So, going back to what you had said, being intentional and, though we know that we want to be successful, and still we don't invest in ourselves.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. The biggest
what,
investment you can make is in yourself.
right? Oh, yes, of course, of course. So then, Nalin, what is it that, why are people so hesitant to do that? I mean,
Um,
you and I are not really saying things that people don't are not aware of, and still they don't do it.
I think
Any
it's yeah. I think it's a mindset change that we need to do. We always script that my spouse didn't do this, or my children didn't do this, or my boss was angry,
we
and
blame
everything.
others.
The traffic was bad. So I think that mindset change has to happen. Even if you have 15 minutes every day available with you, if you accumulate it, if you come see the compounding effect, 15 minutes over 5 working days, if you are getting 15 minutes extra in your car listening to a podcast, if you're spending that 15 minutes, so in 5 days it becomes 75 minutes.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
in a month it becomes like 3 hours or 4 hours over time, and in a year it translates to like 20 hours or 30 hours. so
correct.
so this is what the mindset change is required. See, I think again everything is intention. If you want to do something,
You can
whatever
do.
is a priority in our life, we will always find time for it. If I want to watch a favorite TV program, I'll do my work before that and I'll be ready at 8 o'clock in front of the
Yes,
TV
yes. We are
because
all
that's a
sitting.
priority.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whatever is
Absolutely.
a priority, I'll always find time for it. Whatever is not a priority, you may put it down in your to-do list, in your goal list, whatever, but it will not going to happen. So we have to be very careful what we put into our goal list also, in our life plan also. Don't just put things for the sake of it because your friend has done it, because your cousin has done it, because your neighbor has done it. See what kicks with you. We all are unique individuals. We were
Right,
not meant to be another Bill Gates or another Donald Trump or another Sheikh Mohammed or another Narendra Modi. We are unique individuals. Each person
right.
is unique.
Absolutely.
So
We are us.
have that. Yeah, we have a lot of self-limiting beliefs. We say that no, those people had better opportunities. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
We can all make our future.
There is a lady called Sumita Kapoor who's just posted a question for you, Nalin. She says that what do we do when we don't get what we have been striving for with all the passion and dexterity? Did you get the question?
Correct. Yes, I did. So I think it's about the way we have been doing it. We need to analyze that whether the way we have been doing it is not right. Maybe we can readjust our methodology to achieve. I mean, I don't have the what specifically she means, but let's say if she wants to achieve something by a certain date and she's not been able to do that, so she's disappointed.
Right,
So she needs to analyze that whether that task wanted to warranted a longer time contribution, so to speak, and she was not able to do that. So she may be able to readjust her routine and give more time to that activity so that she can complete it on time. I mean, again, you have to just break it down. Whatever your goal is, you have to work backwards. You have to list down the activities that need to be done. Everything is a project that way.
right.
Everything like to a project that okay, we are starting this in 3 months time, we have to finish it. So for achieving that milestone 3 months later, what are the sub activities that need to be done, and then each activity how much time it is going to take. And this may sound to be overwhelming that everything has to be planned that way, but if you do that regular reflection, if you spend 10-15 minutes every night seeing
Yeah.
how your day went by, what were the things which you could have avoided, what were the things which you wanted to do and couldn't do it, and so you can put it in your next day's to-do list. So every
Right.
night, if you spend those 10-15 minutes, every weekend, if you spend an hour and see how the week went by and what your coming week looks like. If you're working, what your calendar looks like, how your office engagements looking like. And another thing that I would want to specifically want people to know is that in today's times, work and personal life is no longer split apart. So if you've got your daughter's tennis competition, let's say scheduled for Wednesday 3 p.m., put it on your calendar like you put
Right.
in
Oh, yeah.
any other meeting, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because otherwise, all the your office activities are going to be always overwhelming, and your
Right.
calendar would always
You
be
have to
so.
prioritize. You have to prioritize.
Absolutely, absolutely.
In fact, if I may add my two bit here, one of the
Sure.
things that when people have to prioritize, I tell them is what you were saying that there is a 10 and 30 rule, which says 10 minutes every evening and 30 minutes every week is something that you should
Correct,
put in for yourself. Just simply, I mean, and it's such a small amount of time. I mean, you can do that anytime, reflecting
correct, correct, correct.
what you need to do. So, and so my other thing that I would like to at this point in time ask is that um, we lose inspiration. So we do start with a lot of drive and a lot of desire, whether it is weight loss or whether it is learning a new skill. I myself started
Correct.
learning, Spanish
Absolutely.
online, and then I kind of
Correct. Correct.
left it. Uh, what happens there? I mean, is it that what we embarked upon was not a very realistic goal that we wanted? It was a fanciful thing that we took on. Why do we lose that steam in the middle?
Yeah, I think if I talk about the laws of growth, the law of modeling says that it is hard to improve yourself if you've got no one else to follow but yourself. So you definitely need to have an inspiration.
You need to
Yeah,
repeat. So
it
that's a
is
good.
hard to improve. It is
Yeah,
hard to improve yourself if you've got no one else to follow but yourself.
but yourself.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
because yeah, I'm sitting in my own ego that I'm the best and I've done this and I've done this. I've got a big career. I've got 20 degrees in my hand.
Yeah.
I'm working for a large MNC. I'm the vice president in the organization. I'm a director in the organization. So those things may give you a lot of ego boost,
Yeah.
but you definitely need inspiration. And the law of modeling says that each one of us to grow needs a coach.
Oh
Some of
yeah.
us may, yeah, yeah.
Yes, I
So
agree.
some business promotion for you, Nidhi. Yeah. So
Thank you.
so everybody needs a coach. Some of
Yes.
us may not be aware that we need a coach, but all of us do need a coach.
Yes.
That's important. And some sort of inspiration definitely we need a lot of motivation. And sometimes you don't need to really have a physical coach per se. Maybe you are following somebody on YouTube or on
Oh yeah,
Instagram
yeah.
regularly. Yeah, so people may not even know that you're following them.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
they are
yeah.
being followed, but they might be inspiring you. So
Yeah.
so I think that inspiration definitely has to be there. If some of your goals are there which you're not able to accomplish, see what we do. Normally we do this. No, in today's internet revolution, we go to Google, we try to search out things how to do this in a better way. If let's say I'm wanting to cook a dish today, and in this COVID opportunity, it has taken out my chef skills as well.
Yes.
So I've used the internet. So I've taken inspiration, and I have a lot of new chefs which I didn't even know until now. I've started following them. So I think if you have to improve yourself, if you have to do something new, you have to have an inspiration. Coaches are required by all of us.
Yes.
We may realize it, we may not realize it, but once you have a coach, you then
Yes.
feel that why didn't I have a coach for
Why
all
didn't
this
I
long?
have this before? I agree.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
I have another, viewer who's Brijesh Walia. He says, "Hello, Nalin. Would like to know your view on when do one have actually enough for his needs? I mean, how to come out of rat race and actually follow your passion. One always worries about uncertainty.
Correct.
I think that's a very human
It's a
question,
very human question, and I think satisfaction is again a very subjective word
right?
because for someone $100 million is also not enough, and for
Right.
some $1 million also may be too much.
Yeah.
So satisfaction is something which is very individual specific, and which is very subjective kind of a word. But
Hmm.
on a ballpark basis, again, it's my personal opinion. What I would say is that we all understand that we've got utilities to pay, we've got house loans, EMIs to pay, we've got children education to pay, and sometimes we are stuck in a job and we
Right.
feel that I want to pursue a passion, but how do I leave my job and move forward because I've got these expenses to be taken care
Right.
of. So I think at a ballpark level, I never advise anybody to just take that leap of faith without having anything in hand. If you have around 60% of your whatever your salary you are currently earning, if you have around 60% of that which your passion can generate, I think it's a good time to still take 50 or 60% of that you are still able to make. I think it's a good step to take so that you can then gradually build your business further, build your passion forward.
Right. In fact, that's the advice I wish somebody had given me at some point in time. But I tell my daughter that, that whatever you need to do, you need to have a corpus of at least an year's pay, saved up so that then you can take the risk, calculated risk, and indulge in things that actually you're passionate about.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I often feel that work life adds. It's a way to get what we need. I mean, if we start seeing that as that, perhaps it will be a little less overwhelming to all of us.
Yeah. But I think it's a very difficult question anybody would answer, because satisfaction. I mean, you may never get satisfied. So
Right.
it's a very difficult thing to put a line as to what is enough.
Correct. Correct. So I guess Brijesh has gotten his answer, and another thing that I have been wondering is that we've talked a lot about being intentional, looking at our goals, looking at how we're thinking, what are we saying really. If you're looking at our life in a holistic manner instead of being in micro, being at the macro level. How do you get that mindset change? How do you readjust your priorities? Because now you are realizing that it's very important for me to be relevant in the volatile dynamic world that I live in, and I now need to make time for my personal growth. So I'm now again pulling you back into that personal growth aspect. For a normal person, regular people like us, how do we do that?
Yeah, I think
How
it's yeah,
overwhelming.
yeah. I think I was actually the same as well. People in 10, 20 years of their career, they feel that, I mean, why do I need a personal growth plan? Why suddenly a personal growth plan? In fact, my mentor, when I first time enrolled into mentorship and I got a mentor, and believe me, that's added tremendous value to my life. My mentor asked me that, do you have a personal growth plan? At that time, I really didn't understand what a personal growth plan is. And I said,
Right.
yeah, I have a personal growth plan. So he said, yeah, what is it? What is it? So I said, yeah, I am a professionally qualified chartered accountant, and I'm working in MNCs, and I've got like 10 years of experience, and I've got this degree, and I've got this work experience. I've traveled to so many places. So I said, yeah, that's all is fine, but what's your personal growth plan? I said, I thought that was the personal growth plan.
That was it.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So and then he didn't really answer me at that time. I asked him, what is a personal growth plan? So he said, you'll come to know soon. So then I came back and was asking my friends, my acquaintances, my relatives, my neighbors, do you have a personal growth plan? And everybody had similar answers as me. And nobody really understood what a personal growth plan is.
Yeah.
And then when I met my mentor next time, he said that you are only talking about one aspect of your life.
Right. But
So until you think of the holistic view, you'll not understand the importance of personal growth. You'll not understand the importance of other relationships that you have in your life. You have your social circle, you have your family, you have your spiritual needs, you have your enrichment needs. You need to relax as well. You only have 24 hours. So you have to be very well organized in terms of doing things. Again, I don't consider myself as perfect. We are all work in progress, and I think until we go to the grave, we'll all be work in progress.
right.
But so far as you're making each day better than what yesterday was, I think that's what it is. So again, boiling down to the personal growth plan, you should list down your priorities, what you want from life, and automatically then things will start flowing, where you will start reprioritizing things and letting off things which are not important. Saying no is very important. That's an art. There's so many books written, the art of saying no.
Yes. Very important. Very important. Most of us, I think, are very scared that if I say no, then people won't like us and won't be friends with us. We won't be popular enough. I guess that kind of holds us back. And
Correct. I
yeah,
think the
so
fear of failure is also there. That
yeah, yeah,
if I say no, I might not get the opportunity.
yeah,
But again, it boils down to what you want from life. So
yeah.
you are the architect of your life, and you have to take that call. Either you just please people and then be unhappy, or just take a call and then move towards happiness.
In fact, the thing that is coming to my mind listening to you right now is that so sometimes I talk about it's not my opinion. I think Stephen Covey's quote where he says something to the effect of schedule your priorities, don't prioritize your schedule.
Correct.
That kind of a thing, and You'll be surprised, Nalin, how many times people actually get stumped on a question like that. That कि भाई अगर if I'm not going to be looking at my day, how will I fit in so much work that I need to do?
Correct.
So tell me something. Uh, you know, CEOs like the Bill Gates was, or so many people that we admire and see, like Narayan Murthy or a Tata, Ratan Tata,
Absolutely.
so forth. Great leaders. Uh, my question to you now is that what is the difference between these great leaders? Now, I'm not saying that Ratan Tata or someone. In your coaching practice, maybe you have come across leaders, and then there are great leaders. Do you think that people who make great leaders um, have a very focused growth plan for themselves?
Absolutely. Leaders do have a focused growth plan. And not only for themselves, they have the growth plan for others as well. Because real leadership is about creating influence and empowering people.
Right.
If you all the examples that you just gave, if you look at individually each one of them, you would see that the people who have been following them are real admirers of those leaders because they have been inspirational. They have taken people to those levels where people even didn't know that those levels existed.
Correct.
Companies like Tata, companies like Infosys, companies like Apple. Yeah, people who started working for those companies never ever imagined that these would be billion-dollar conglomerates or trillion-dollar companies.
Yeah.
But these leaders empowered people, brought the teams together, and created that influence and
Right.
took people to where they are now, which they themselves had never imagined. So the real leader is a person who takes you where you don't even know where you have to go.
Yeah.
But when you reach there, you feel so happy.
Correct. So what you're saying is that leadership has to have a personal growth plan for themselves, and it has to
Absolutely.
be so inspiring that the people that you're leading follow that path, right?
Correct. Correct. See,
And
because if you have to grow people, you have to yourself know something. Yeah?
right,
And whatever you have inside, that's what you're going to give out.
right,
Right. So
right,
let's say if you've got hatred, jealousy, anger, impoliteness inside you, that's what you're going to emit every morning, right? Yeah, you fight with your wife, you fight with your children, you fight with your parents, you fight with everybody, you go to the office in a bad mood. That's what you're going to,
that's what it is.
that kind of energy that you're going to pass on to your people, right? But if you've got love, you've got compassion, you've got politeness, that's what you're going to pass on to people. Similarly, what you learn is what you're going to transfer to others, because the personal growth is about developing yourself. Once you develop, when you sit with your teams, you'll be automatically urged to develop your people. So this comes automatically.
Uh, Very interestingly, while you were talking this, I just read a comment, a question, and I hope what you've just said actually answers that question. But I'll read it out to you anyways. It's Ankur again asking. Thank you, Ankur, for actually being so attentive to us. He says, "How do you mentor team members towards life goals? How do you build a great team at workplace?" So,
I think, for building teams, the biggest thing that I would suggest anybody that you want to improve yourself, the one single most important thing that you can improve yourself is communication skills. Communication is so important in our lives.
so important.
The same words put in a different way can do wonders.
Yes.
So the art of communication, if somebody asks me that is what is the one thing that I should learn in my life, I would say communication skills, so that you can connect with people.
Right.
Unless you connect with your teams, unless you connect with your supervisors, your bosses, you are not going to succeed in any job, in any venture. So
Right.
communication skills are very important.
Very good. So I hope Ankur gets that answer from you, and he's going to up his communication skills in that area. And look at, uh, I guess we need to understand what people want from us and what we can give them as their
Absolutely.
leaders or managers, and you know,
Absolutely.
um, any so just kind of start wrapping this session, which is going really great. That you said that we need to have a personal growth plan for a simple reason that we need to remain relevant, employable, and and hence achieve what we need to achieve, that we've set out for ourselves. We need to have concrete written down goals. We need to take actions and be realistic about it, improve our communication skills. Um, so I'll kind of bring this all together now and ask you: is there one, two, three steps that you can share with the viewers and our listeners, that perhaps once you're not here, if they sit down, they can actually do that and you know maybe chalk out a personal development
Yeah.
plan or a
I think
direction?
we should the first thing that we should do is we should get over the barriers that are stopping us. And generally, what these barriers are,
Yeah.
uh, we have an assumption gap. Once we are qualified, once we've got a job, we start believing that now nothing else needs to be done. We assume that we are going to grow automatically.
Right.
We forget that getting old is not the same as getting better.
Wow. Beautifully put.
So yeah, so we have to keep on improving ourselves. We should not assume that I've got my qualification done, I'm out of the college, I'm out of my professional institution, so that's it. So I think that is the biggest thing which people should get over with. The other thing is the knowledge gap. Again, knowledge gap is once you do something, okay, I've done a professional certification also. What Nalin advised, okay, I've done this degree also. Now nothing else to be done. So learning never ends. So you have to be constantly be teachable. You have to be teachable, and learning is not just about reading books or going to a course. Learning is everywhere. Even the person at the airport lounge who's speaking so loud that he's disturbing everybody is teaching you something that you should not be talking like that, right? So even the negatives, you have to see it from that perspective. You have to learn from everything. So you have to be teachable. The timing gap, because the perfect time is never going to come. So you have to get over that timing gap as well. You will always have hundreds of excuses.
Right.
Oh, my finances are not going very well, or I've got a quarterly reporting next week,
Right.
or my
Right.
audit is coming up, or my friends are coming. So let that picnic be over. I'll start after that, or let my kids get settled into the school or into the
So
college.
that one is a
So
big thing. Huh? Let the kids get settled in.
yeah, that's true. But I think that will keep on happening. You can still steal out 1 hour every day or 45 minutes every day, whatever you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
so again, that these are the barriers that we just put on ourselves. These are self-limiting beliefs, and they can be. I mean, these turn out to be true if we just put it on us. If we
Right.
start believing that I don't have money, you'll never have money to do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 1 month you'll get the bonus. You'll bring a 65 inches TV in your living room, but then again you'll say no. All the money has gone into the TV. I don't have money left for the course. So I think the timing gap you have to overcome. The other
Yeah.
thing is perfection gap. People start thinking that no, I can't do it. My friend did it because he had a different kind of education,
Right.
or he was blessed differently. So there's no difference. I mean, if you want to learn something, nothing is easy. Whoever you see successful today, they just didn't become successes overnight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube. Did Mark Zuckerberg become an overnight success?
No, not at all. Not at all.
People say that, yeah, there was one fine quote, I'm not remembering the writer, but he said that it took me 20 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I've read
Yeah,
this one.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
so you have to get over that. You can't be perfect in one go. I mean, you have to repeat, you have to commit mistakes, you have to fall down, you have to get up, you have to try again. So it's all experimenting in life. Life is all about experiments, but we have to just keep on doing it. If we stop, we're just dead. So that's one thing. We have to get over our fear of failure. We need
Fear of.
to, yeah, trade off our security for the unknown. Sometimes we say that, okay, like Brijesh asked that question, that when do we just take that leap of faith? So
Hmm.
I agree with his point, but I think at some point we have to draw a balance, because time is ticking by. So if you, sooner or later, you, if you want to take that leap of faith, you have to take it.
Yeah.
Otherwise time is just ticking by.
In fact, I wanted to add what you said, that nobody got perfect in a day. The 20-year is the overnight success. Um, to that, I absolutely believe that if even one single human being on this earth can do something, we all can do it.
Absolutely.
Everybody,
Absolutely.
everybody can do
Absolutely.
it. Just
Yeah, we just self limit ourselves, that's it.
exactly, exactly. It may come with a little difficulty, no doubt. I mean, if I decide to become an astronaut today, I may not be able to, but trust me, I can learn enough on it if I
Correct,
apply
correct,
myself.
correct,
So, I think that self-limiting belief, I feel, is a big barrier that happens in personal growth.
correct.
You know.
Not, other than rocket science, nothing else is rocket science.
Yeah, I agree. You also talked about time for self. And one of the questions I always have with people, especially when I coach and counsel, one of the things I ask people to do is journaling, because I believe it's psychologically it's a very it's a great developmental self assessment realization technique. And Nalin, I'm not kidding. Till date, I don't think I have heard anybody who has ever said, yes, I'll do it. It takes precisely 10 minutes. And I ask people, please tell me, if you do not have 10 minutes for the most important person in your life, which is you, what does
Correct,
it really say
correct, correct,
for you, right? I mean,
correct.
if we have that kind of mentality that I'm not important, I don't put myself on the forefront, how will I bring personal development into the, or personal growth into the fore?
Yeah. And I tell you, if you don't put value on yourself, nobody else will.
Oh yeah,
If
yeah,
you
yeah,
yourself, yeah, so that's important.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you have so for personal development, it's very important that we find time for ourselves. We prioritize ourselves, our own. I should say our own dreams and goals need to be prioritized, and we
Definitely.
should take everybody in it and then walk. It doesn't does it have to be a lonely journey? I don't think so. Is it?
No, I think, but once you put it on, then obviously that plan has to be accomplished with the help of others.
Correct,
And I
correct.
think it's very addictive. Once you start getting into that habit of reflection, if you don't do it, you'll miss it.
Right.
So if I don't do my weekly review, I get something uncomfortable about it. So you have to do it.
Yeah.
You just get
Same here with
addicted.
me. I mean, if I don't do my, those 3-4 minutes of journaling that I do,
Correct, correct.
I feel as if I missed out on something. It's just that it
Absolutely.
actually takes just 5 minutes for you to reflect. How can I be better? Did I do my best? Actually, the question I ask myself is, did I do my best? And there
Absolutely.
are days when unfortunate answer is that no, you didn't, and that's okay, because as you had
It's
already
okay.
said,
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Correct. We are not perfect human beings. Yeah, there's
yeah,
another day.
I have another opportunity. I'm still alive, and I
Correct.
can still
Correct.
take that.
Correct.
So
Correct. Absolutely.
great, Nalin. This was a really, really nice chat with you, and I hope people listening to us have learned from the nuggets that you have shared. Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. Take care.